The first one is a poem that Baba wrote, Life at its Best. If understood, life is simply a jest. If misunderstood, life becomes a pest. Once overcome, life is ever at rest. For pilgrims on the path, life is a test. When relinquished through love, life is at its best. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Affirmation of the separative ego is the chief veil between man and his own divine self. But the doors of the heart have to be thrown open by the surrenderance of ego affirmation if God, as a supreme beloved, is to make his entry into the heart. No one can realize God except through the grace and help of a God-realized master who is truth incarnation. Only a God-realized master can awaken this true love in the human heart by consuming, through the fire of his grace, all the dross that prevents its release. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai.
Thank you, Pamela. All right. I'm going to sing a couple of songs. First one I wrote, I'm not sure how long ago, a while back. Well, the God-man's here, he's here right now, he's coming right after you. Well, you better not run, you better not hide, 'cause he's got something for you to do. He's gonna take you on that ride, he's the perfect guide, yeah, the God-man's here for you. He's gonna take you on that ride, he's the perfect guide for you. But some days I feel sad, then I feel glad, I'm just trying to make it through. But I'm holding on tight, with all my love in mind, it's just something I just gotta do. He's gonna take you on that ride, he's the perfect guide, yeah, God-man's here for you. He's gonna take you on the ride, he's the perfect guide for you. Well, it's been 40 years and a million tears, I'm just living day to day. But I'm holding on tight to Baba's diamond, I got nothing more to say. He's gonna take you on that ride, he's the perfect guide, yeah, the God-man's here for you. He's gonna take you on the ride, he's the perfect guide for you. All right, this one I borrowed from another song. He come around about 700 years. Well, he'll be back in town. Got eyes like sunshine and a smile like rain. Gonna free you from the big wheel of pleasure and pain. And his name is Avatar Meher Baba, Avatar Meher Baba, Avatar Meher Baba, Avatar Meher Baba. Yeah, yeah, yeah. here right now, with the you and me, with the veil of Maya, well, we can hardly see all this confusion with no one to blame. It's gonna free you from the illusion just by saying his name. And his name is me. Hey, Avatar Mayor Baba. Avatar Mayor Baba. Avatar Mayor Baba. Avatar Mayor Baba. Hey, Avatar Mayor Baba. Avatar Mayor Baba. Avatar Mayor Baba. Avatar Mayor Baba. Hey, Baba. All right, let's set up for Irwin here. Let's take this one here. This one.
I don't know if anybody knows Irwin Luck, but he actually met Baba, I believe, in 1960. And he was a young man. Now,
Still
he's
is.
even
Still a
younger.
young man.
And here he is.
You know, he's talking about me being a young man. I can't remember that far back, but maybe I once was. You know, I had to be 2 at one time. Who remembers anything? Anyhow, I'll just get to the point. You see, when I met Mayor Baba, he asked me what I wanted. That was the first thing he said. One of the first things. He said so many first things that this is one of them. So I said, I want to be like you. And he said, and this is something for everybody, stay close. Stay close. That's what he told me. And then he took me with him wherever he went. And he would visit his lovers in different homes. He would be invited to at that time, the little girls' orphanage, where there was, I guess, maybe 100 or 200 children in that orphanage, and I was with him at the time, and he just took me wherever he wants. In the car, if we were riding around, he had to go someplace, or to his home in Guru Prasad. This was in Pune, India, in 1960. It was my first visit to see him. And Baba was very kind and very loving, and he was so friendly with everybody. He wanted you to feel that he was there for you. You know, that he liked you, he loves you. It was all a very wonderful, warm spirit to be around Baba. And he didn't want anyone to worry about anything. He would tell them, and he told us, he said, when you're with me, don't think about your family, your job. All of that is not important now. You just be with me. Because you see, what Baba was here was on a mission. He was on a very detailed, very, very important mission. And the mission was that he wanted to help others to realize the purpose of why they were born in the first place and what their life was for. And that was to realize the full self that you are, the infinite self that you are as God. Baba didn't speak about God being someone else. He spoke about God as a state of consciousness that you have to experience because it is latent in you to experience it. So as long as you experience yourself as fractional of what your complete self is, then you can't enjoy the bliss and the knowledge and the power and the love of your own being. You can't experience it like that. So he's here to take away the things that are obstacles preventing that experience from being for each of us. Because it's in us, it's latent in us. So God is not someone else. He is a state of consciousness that you have to experience within yourself. And Baba was here for that one purpose, to help you experience that. And so he guided people in their everyday life, because in the everyday life, according to Baba, and I was just talking with some people earlier, according to Baba, the everyday life is just imagination to you. It is a dream. You're living in a dream, and you think it is real. It is not real according to Baba. It is imagination which is created through the mind. The framework of the mind is to create illusion, create imagination, create dreams. So you follow your dreams, as they say, you follow your dreams. But Baba was saying the only reality is the dreamer, not the dream that you're caught up in, that you're absorbed by. Oh no, it is the one self is the only reality. And there is only one self. This is what Baba Jan, when he enlightened Meher Baba in the beginning, when Baba described what she did, she made him see that there was only one self, that he was the only one in existence, but not as we see limitation, seeing himself as unlimited, infinite, the infinite self, not the limited self that we have, that we experience in our consciousness. So, who is Baba? He's your own self, latent, to be experienced. You have to experience Baba within yourself. This is, you've been hearing this from different religions and things. God is with you. Baba has said it many times, I'm in everyone. What do you mean you're in everyone? How can you be in everyone? There are so many. Where's the everyone? Well, the fact is that it's like you have a dream at night. What do you see? You see many people, you can see buildings, you can see objects, you can see the ocean, you can see fish, you can see all the animals, and you can see all the multiplicity of a world in your own imagination that you create yourself. You made the whole thing up yourself. Well, that's how multiplicity is. But but the actual truth is there is only one self, and that's the dreamer. The dreamer is the only reality. There is nobody else out there. And once when I was reading in the Everything and the Nothing, because Baba's books are really quite enlightening, he was saying, there is no one for me to love. I have to accept that I create the illusion, the imagination, that there is someone to love, and then I can have the game we can have the interplay of you and me loving each other. And he said, so I'm in everyone, just like you're in everyone when you have a dream at night and you wake up. Well, you were in everyone. So he says, but in the absolute sense, this is what he's doing. I put him to sleep. You see that? He's going to be sleeping away. Let him sleep, he needs some rest, for God's sakes. The man is up all day long, he has to have a little rest. So, let me just say that. Now I'm going to read you something. This is what I wrote. You see, every week, people have been getting a circular from me. And this circular is the poetic verses that I have written. And what I write is what Baba has been explaining in this Advent that he doesn't really explain, or has never explained in the previous Advent that I ever heard of. Now maybe others have heard something I haven't, but I never heard. So I'm going to read you a couple of my poems, and then you can see how you like it. Here it is. Oh, it's better to see, you know. Okay. All right. And this is titled Dreamland. This is the title of the poem. And this is sent out each week. I send out one circular. Here is a poem for you from the circulars I send out each week, titled Dreamland. Who would believe I'm just a character in a dream I am having? That in my dreamland, I also made up the world around me. And am I doing in my little way what you have been doing since the beginning of time? When the mind emerged from you, duality was born. It was the perfect mirror for you to see yourself. Yogis try to still the mind so they can get a better look at you. They love it. They never saw such a glorious sight before. Such bliss, love, and power, like nothing found on earth. Who would want to leave that? But to you, the enchanting mind is only good for dreams. Even a still mind is no match for the real thing. You live alone as the only one in existence. But yet, unlike us, you are never lonely. You have your own infinite self-fulfillment to keep you company. The glory of such a divine selfhood cannot be understood with the mechanical mind, which is good for grinding out endless thoughts and every kind of feeling that our mental and emotional bodies can produce. The wonders of your infinite consciousness can give any dream for anyone to enjoy or suffer. The kings and beggars are all illusions that you produce, and just another character in your dreamland. But I feel so real. It must be because I am made of nothing but you. And that's the truth of the matter, at least the way I see it. And the way Baba explained it. Now there's one more. I'm just going to only read two. This is called Soul Food. Soul Food. Jesus invited the people to a feast. They came experiencing food, a good food for the stomach. Where was the food? He was going to serve them. But he was going to serve them a different kind of meal. But like all food, it also had to be digested. Mayor Baba has been serving the same meal as he did as Jesus. When Baba John served it to Merwan, he became God conscious, just like all the others that ever tasted this delicacy. Throughout the ages, millions would follow the one who ate this dish. Suddenly, you light up. Beauty, power, love, supreme knowledge, self-realization of your unlimited being. The boundless creator you become. The musician who plays the heartstrings. On and on it goes, and this was just a mere taste. So when Jesus invited the people to his feast, or Mayor Baba now invites you to his table, It has taken ages to get this invitation. Don't hesitate. Who knows if such an invitation will come again. Opportunities come when they come. That's all that can be said about it. And then you make the most of it at that time. When I was with Baba, he was there with his mandali in the mornings, and they would read letters that would come from different parts of the world, different languages, different places, and people would be writing to Baba, and he would be answering them in the mornings. He would give his answers. In some letters, what he would say would to Erich, or whoever was taking the dictation, because Baba was using his hand gestures for his communication. He would say to them, "Don't send this letter yet. I'll tell you when to send it." And this would be with certain letters. In my mind, I understood it this way, that Baba works a lot behind the scenes, which you don't see. And he prepares you for what he is, what he wants you to know. And it could be through a letter or through any other means, but he prepares you first. And then when you get it, oh boy, you really understand it. And it is just at the perfect time. The timing is so perfect when you get what he wants to tell you. It's because you can act on that better than you could otherwise. So this is the way I saw it. But Baba did do that. He would not always want the letter to be sent out right away. He would tell you when, he would say, "I'll tell you when to send it." But then, when we were all sitting there, at one point Baba said, "If anyone has any question, now's the time to ask." Because you see, when you were with Baba, you didn't just speak out. He would give opportunity for you to speak out. He liked people to feel relaxed and normal, to not to try to be pretentious that, oh, I'm with the avatar, that means that I'm with God, I must be something special. No, there was nothing like that, and he wouldn't allow it. But he did want that you should be able to express yourself at times when he would invite that. So he was asking that, if anyone had any questions, and nobody raised their hand. There must have been about 15 or so people in the room at the time, sitting there with Baba. So, but then Baba asked again. He said, "Now, if anyone has any question to ask, just ask what you like." No one raised their hand. In the meantime, I'm thinking that there was a question that I really wanted to know. And the question was, I wanted to know I wanted to ask the one question that would answer all questions. See? I didn't know what the question was. That was the trouble. I couldn't ask the question because I didn't know what it would be. What is the one question that would answer all questions? So I'm thinking about it. Then Baba just turned to me and he said, "Well, Irwin, you can ask a question. Ask me something." So I'm thinking, and I can't think of what the question even is. Much less. So there's this long pause, like a period of silence. He doesn't say anything, and nobody is saying anything, and they're all waiting for me to say something. Finally, I remembered something else that I read in the book Listen Humanity at the time when I was reading as to who Mayor Baba is. And in that book, it said, Baba was saying that the one who asks for my love will be the chosen one. So I thought, oh, that sounds good. So I said, "Baba, can I have all your love?" turned to somebody. He said, "Do you experience all my love?" I said, "No, Baba, I don't." Do you? Each one he was asking, nobody could say yes. Nobody would say that they experienced all his love. So he turned to me and he said, "Why should I give you all my love? Why shouldn't it be someone else? Why not him or her? Why you?" And now I just thought, I never thought I'd have to have to figure out why me. So I said to Baba, "Baba, I would like you to give it to whomever you want to, but I want to experience it too." So then Baba picked up a jar that was on a table. It was a little table like this, but there was a jar there. So Baba picked up the jar and he motioned around it like this with his hand. And he said, "You are inside this jar, and there. But the trouble is, he said, you are inside this jar, and I am the ocean. All you have, but there's a lid on the jar. All you have to do is remove the lid, and the ocean that I am, the ocean of love, everything that I am will come into the jar, and you'll have it. It'll be there for you." So that sounded simple. No, all I have to do is remove the lid. So I was about to say something, but because after I'm thinking about this, I said, in my mind I'm thinking, nothing's changed. Everything is still the same as before I asked the question. So, but then just somebody else came in. It was Kakabad, actually. And Kakabad is the person that Baba had repeat his name 100,000 times every day. 100,000 times, and he had to count it also. So he had a way of counting it. And he was the only one that I heard that ever had divine experiences. And boy, did he have experiences. So when, so the topic changed as soon as he came in, and I couldn't say anything more. But later I was thinking, the thing that I would have asked Baba is that if you have, how can I remove the lid when I'm on the inside? It has to be someone from the outside. But you see, in that was also the understanding and the realization that is why I was there. I was there because I couldn't do anything to experience the God state of, or even know about it, if it wouldn't be that he would explain it, and also talk about it and how he does it. So Baba would say, as I said earlier, when that came up, the one thing he said, stay close. You stay close. Anybody can do that. Stay close. You don't leave him. You don't leave the one who is able to give you the state of consciousness that he has. He's the only one that can do that. There is no one else out there. There's no saints or yogis. And they all have their meditations, their exercises, their disciplines, all the different things that they do, but they cannot experience the God state. That takes a God-realized person. And so when Hazrat Baba Jan gave Baba the God state of consciousness and removed all that stood in the way of it so that he could experience himself as the one self behind all the bodies and minds of everybody and everything, not just in this world, throughout the cosmos. The whole cosmos was a part of it. That is amazing. So that was what he meant when you want to remove the lid. I understood later. That's why I had to be there, because no one else was going to be able to help me with that one. That's only someone that is already at that point can do something. You don't go to somebody who's not. There was this man Kakabad, and Baba told me You see, Kakabad was there for a little while. There was some discussion, but then Baba said to me that I should go out on the bench outside when he dismissed everyone. I should go on the bench, and Kakabad will tell me his divine experiences, what he experiences. And, so afterwards, when Baba was finished with everybody, then I went out on the bench with Kakabad, and boy, he told me some things. I'll tell you what it is, so you don't have to ask me, you see. I'll tell you myself. So what happened was, Kakabad was saying that even in a dark room, he would experience such light coming out of himself that that he could even read a newspaper from it if he was wanting to read a newspaper. But he could even, that's how much light was coming out of him. And he said that he could see Baba in his infinite state, which was a lot easier than seeing him manifest in his physical body form. Who knew, that you could do that? He could see him in his infinite state, meaning in his cosmic way of his experience of being everywhere and everything. Yes, and that was easier, he said, than to see him in his physical form to manifest at that time. Not when he's actually physically amongst us, no, but whether he could make him appear like that. Well, there sure is a lot of things you can do when you have that kind of abilities. And Baba was wanting us to understand that even Kakabad's experience was not the reality, but it was it was what he could experience approaching what Baba wanted, just saying Baba's name 100,000 times every day, you see. Now, whether it was a result of his repetition of the name, Baba did not say, but that's what was happening to him. If anyone has any questions, this is very informal. You can ask me anything about whatever you like. Well, don't all jump up and talk at once, what?
Not a question, but could you just repeat what you said about Kaikobad, saying that he was easier for him to see Baba's infinite state?
Well,
because I remember Kaikobad in the early 70s, little frail, little
yes,
fellow,
Kakabad was a very frail person. He was an old man when I saw him, and he was quite frail, as you say. But just the same, he was having these inner experiences. You see, it didn't matter if he was frail or not. He was having these experiences, and he was telling me what they were, because Baba had told him to do that. You see, I was not interested to hear what anyone else's experiences were, because I was already with Baba. He is the highest experience. And he was not the kind of person that cared to ever talk about it either. But the two of us were sent out to talk to each other about it. You see, this is Baba for you. He wanted Kakabad, who doesn't care to talk about his experiences, to tell me everything. And I, who don't care to hear it, had to listen to it. So we both did whatever Baba said. And actually, there was a reason which didn't emerge until, I don't know, maybe 15 years later, when I was going around filming the stories of what everybody had to say about their personal experiences with Baba. And I saw Kakabad at that time. And then I asked him if he would tell what happened, because he would not have spoken at all if it were, because he didn't care to do that, you see. He was not the kind of person that would do it. But because Baba had said that, then he did. And there was one other incident too, about how Baba's words at that time manifested many years later. And what I'm thinking of is Francis Brabazon. Because Francis Brabazon had gone back to Australia after Baba dropped his body, and he was at Avatar's abode. And I had decided in those days, because I was traveling around collecting and filming the stories of all these people that had been with Baba, the things that Baba said and did with them was what we needed to film, because that's what everybody is ever going to want to know, what actually happened when you were with him. And what did Baba say to you? What did he do with you? What did he have you do? All of these things. So they would talk about that. Now, it turned out that Francis Brabazon, I had written to him because I wanted to go to Australia and film the people that had these great stories to tell. And he, being someone that lived with Baba for 10 years, was definitely a person that should be talked, that should talk and be recorded. Well, I wrote to him. And what does he write back? He says, no, he can't, he's not going to do this. He just he says not to come to film him because he doesn't want it to be talking about anything at all. Well, all right. And then, but you see, in my mind, I felt that this is really a mission that I have to do. I got to do this thing. So I wrote back to him again, and I explained that, how many people would really like to hear all the things you've been with Baba for 10 years. So, tell us something, what happened then. And he wrote back again. He absolutely refused. He was not going to do anything. Well, I'm thinking, what can I do? What can I do about this? And then it suddenly occurs to me that Baba, 15 years before, had handed me the key to this very thing. And what was this key? Baba had told Francis at that time that he should tell me whatever question that I may have. And he wanted me to go also sit on the bench outside after he dismissed everyone. And he wanted me to ask Francis some questions. And Francis should answer whatever I asked him. I didn't even know what to ask him, but then I thought of something and I asked him something, and then he did what Baba said to answer. He did like that. That was like 15 years earlier from the time that I wrote to him when he was in Australia, after Baba dropped his body. Well, now it turns out that, as I said, he refused. So I decided, I don't care. He can talk or not talk. I'm going to go, and I'm just going to, I forgot the most important part. So then I wrote back to Francis, and now I held the key. You see, Baba had given me the key. And I said to him in the letter, Francis, I expect to be leaving to go to Australia and Avatar's abode, and I will want to hear you tell me everything that you can remember about what happened when you were with Baba in those days, because Baba had once said to me that I should ask you any question, and you should answer it. And if you think that his order still stands, then you have to answer what I ask. I had him.
Got it.
He couldn't get away from it. No, he couldn't get out of that. And the one thing that Francis would never want to do, or ever, is not do what Baba said. He lived for that. And when I asked him that, he could not say no, because he could not say that Baba didn't say that, you see, to him. Now he had to do it. And when I came there, boy, I came with two other people that were helping me, these two women, and they got out of the car first. We went to Avatar's abode. We were driven there, and they got out, and I thought, boy, here, we're going to see what Francis, because I had no idea. You see, he didn't have time to answer my letter because I was leaving. You see, I just left. And now he was there, and he's, and Martha, that was her name, and it comes out, and this other woman, Anne, they come out, and they see him, and they go over to him, and he greets them so lovingly and so warmly. And I said, boy, wait until I go out and see what happens now. But I did. I went out, and I went over to him, and he was just so very nice, very warm and very nice. And what does he say? He says to me, now, when you ask me these questions and we go inside, I want you to be able to see the place where we fixed up for Baba when he came to Avatar's abode here. And whatever you want to know about that, I'll tell you that. See, and he says, these are the things that are most important. And he says, will you do that? I said, oh yeah, I'll do it all right. I'll do it. That's what I was there for. But, and one other thing. When he decided that he would speak and tell us everything that had happened when he was with Baba, then there were others that when Baba came visiting Australia, they all were with Baba too, and Baba was, it was a big event when Baba came there, and they were not going to speak. I didn't know that at the time. They were not going to say anything to me. But when they saw that Francis had turned around and he was going to do it, then they all agreed. Yeah, now we'll tell you what happened. And now I'll tell you one other thing. When Baba came to Australia, to Avatar's abode, and he visited Brisbane and he visited different places in Melbourne and Sydney in Australia, Baba went to all these places. The first time he came, and this was a composite from all the different things that were mentioned, which I know about now because we have the films of it, but I'm going to tell you this part. When Baba came the first time, he was so entertaining. He was so loving. He was so wonderful, and he just, and visiting, and going to different places and taking them all with him and everything like that. And they had such a great time with Baba on his first visit. Now, when he came the second time, there was a big change. Now Baba was all business. And what was Baba's business? Are you ready to do whatever I say? If I ask you to lay down your lives for me, will you do that too? And they're all gathered together in the barn here, in a big place, and they had never heard Baba talk like that. Baba was before, they expected he was going to be just as wonderful and pleasant and sweet as he was the first time, but boy, he was, now he wanted to know who was really going to serve him, who was really going to be there for him, for what his real mission was in the world, and what he had to do to enlighten humanity. So when they heard that, they were really quite stunned at the time. But as you know, they did what Baba wanted. Whatever Baba wanted, now they were ready to do what he wanted. First, he gave them what they wanted. Now now they have to do what he wants. So this was part of what they were telling us. They were telling me and when we were filming them. It's a composite. You see, I just sort of put it all together just to tell you this. But it was a composite of all these experiences that so many people had with Baba at that time in Australia, the Australians. So there you have that. What else do you want to know? Looks like everybody knows everything. I don't have to say anything. Well, anyhow, do you still want me to go on talking?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Still more?
Still more and more.
All right. You know, personally, my own personal connection with Baba is such that when sometimes people ask me, well, how do you feel? What did Baba do for you? You know, all of that. Things, after all these years, because I'm talking from the time I first met him in 1960, and now it's 2025. So there's been a lot of years that went by since then. Baba dropped his body in 1969. So I knew him for 10 years till the time he dropped his body. And during that time, I had 3 visits with Baba. And one time when I visited, when he left his physical body, that was in 1969. That was where I went to the Samadhi and to help, and I was able to help cover Baba. It was very unique because there were thousands of people, Easterners, that were there. Westerners were told by the group heads not to go to Baba's Samadhi at the time when he dropped his body, because they felt it would be too much work for his disciples. I said to Fred, I said, no. I'm his son, I'm coming, I'm going there. The family has to be there. And he was telling me, he says, I'm telling everybody, because he was the group head in New York. You see, he says, they're calling it, I'm telling everybody not to go, now is a bad time, not to do it now. So you're saying you're gonna go. So I said, that's right. I said, I'm saying exactly right, you got it right. And so is my brother Edward, we're both going. Because we know that Baba is family to us, and now family has to be there. And I said to Fred, I said, you know, you love Baba a great deal. No one, I think, can love Baba, you and Ella, which was his wife, could love Baba any more than what you do. And if you don't go, you're going to regret it. Later, you'll regret it. If you don't, you know, it's up to you. You do what you like. But we're going. And so we did. Now, I get there, and I'm at the foot of the hill, and the Samadhi is at the top of the hill. Where Baba is buried in his Samadhi, which becomes a place of pilgrimage afterwards. But anyhow, Erich is down at the foot of the hill, and we just arrived. So we're there now. And he says, I want you to come up to the Samadhi. And there's lines of people. I mean, there's such huge lines of people. What are all these people? These were all Easterners. They were all there. And I said, and he says, where is everybody? Meaning, where's the Westerners? Where they all? Because there were so many Westerners that were Baba lovers. So I said, well, they're being told not to come because it's too much work for you. And he looks around at all these thousands of people. It was nonsense. It was no more work for him. Anyhow, so he takes us up to the top, and we were able to help cover Baba in the Samadhi, because it was the 7th day after Baba dropped his body. And on that day was the internment day. And the reason it was the internment day is because Meira, who was so very close to Baba, decided that that was the day that they should now cover Baba, because she had asked Baba the day that he was to drop his body. She asked him, how many more days you gonna have to suffer? And Baba said 7 days more. But then he dropped his body that day, you see? So the 7th day afterwards was the day that now he was to be covered, according to what she said. And that's the same day that we arrived. So my brother and Edwin arrived, my brother Edwin and I arrived at 11 o'clock. It was literally the 11th hour that we arrived. We had no idea. We thought that Baba was already covered from the message that had come from India at the time, from Erich and the others. They wrote this telegram informing everybody of Baba dropping his body, that he would live eternally in the hearts of his lovers everywhere, and that he has been interned in his tomb, which he had ordered to be built for him long ago. That's what the telegram said. So we thought, well, he's been covered up and, he's in the tomb. But it was not like that at all. He was in the tomb, but you could see his face. He was not covered at all. And people were just coming up to pay their respects to Baba with flowers and whatever else there was. They would just put it at the foot of the samadhi. But he was not covered. And then then we were able to actually be there when we could still see him. And then we were able to help to cover Baba too. Who knew, to cover the avatar? You can presume that there's millions and millions of people that follow Buddha, that follow Jesus, that follow Lord Krishna, Moses in his day, and all these different ones, that you would be amongst the very rare ones that were actually in the tomb to help cover up the master at that time. But that came to be our fate. Our fate was we had that in our lot. Somehow that came about. So I not only got to see Mayor Baba, because when people would ask me, well, what was the biggest, most important things happened to you in your life that you can remember, I said, well, meeting Mayor Baba was no doubt the first thing. The second thing was to be there to help cover him, because I want to say this, for 4 days there was such an intoxication in the atmosphere around where all the people were and where Baba's samadhi was, that from 4 days, from the time that we were there, it was just intoxicating. And Harry Kenmore, who's blind, doctor, and was also very close to Baba, he was one of the people that did come. And he said, this is intoxicating. And he was right. It was so intoxicating. It's hard to express that, but it was, It was just the whole atmosphere was like that. Normally people die, people are weeping and wailing and they feel so much sense of loss and all of that. It was not like that. It was just literally intoxicating. The only one that really did feel a terrible sense of loss was Mera, because she had a very close personal relationship with Baba, which was different than his lovers. We see him and love him from a distance, basically. Even when you're with him, at the time as I was, it's still different. But with her, and when we filmed her, she would talk about how she would comb his hair and she would help shave him. And I mean, she did all the personal things, you see. And so her feelings and sense of loss of his physical company was very intense. But for the rest of us, we were in really a state of intoxication at the time when he passed away. People still go to his samadhi. I mean, it's a place of pilgrimage. I tell people, I said, look, if you really want to express your love and you want to feel what you can, you go there. He left that samadhi as a place of pilgrimage for you to come to so that he could give you what he wants. He has something for everybody because that's who he is. He's in everybody. He can do that. Nobody can do that. But he does that because that's his role. That's his being avatar is like that. One of the first things that Baba did ask me in the beginning when I first met him, he said, "Do you believe that I am the avatar?" And I had only known of Baba about 6 months at that time. 6 months. And he was saying that he was God in human form, God the beyond. My tradition was not to believe that any man could be God. You see, that was the way I was taught. However, when I was with Baba, it was also different. He was saying, God is not someone else there. He's in you. God is in you. I'm in you. I'm in everybody. It's a whole other way it's a different mentality, you see. It's not like you're worshiping someone or some man, he claims to be God. No, this is not like that. It's in you. You have to experience what's in you. That's the spiritual path. The spiritual path is to experience everything that's in you, and what you find is Baba. That's who Baba is. You find God. That's who God is. That made so much sense to me. I said, I can go for this. I got to meet him. You see, in those days, I hadn't met him yet. I said, I got to meet him. I want him to show me God. So that's why I went. I wanted him to show me God. All right. What? Oh, okay, you agree. Right. He's giving me a agree sign. He agrees. All right. If anybody...
When you told us some stories about your father in the past,
yeah,
but I don't think you mentioned about your mother and how she dealt with you and your brother Edward going to India, etc.
my mother was just the opposite of my father.
Really?
To put it mildly. She was such a sweet woman. She had so much love. She was already living Baba before anything was said. One thing she did ask me, she said, "Can you send me something that he said? I would like to know that." That was in the very beginning. So I sent her the 10 ways of loving God that Baba had written. Those 10 ways. So later, she told me she read them, and she said, "He passes my test." Now we have to pass his. This
What
is
was her
the
name,
kind of a
Irwin?
woman that she was. She
What was
was
your mom's name?
very, very loving, very sweet. There were 4 boys in our family, and she loved us all the same. That's how she was.
What was your mom's name?
Sally Love.
Sally. Oh,
Yeah,
Sally.
Sally Love was her name. Well, I don't know if yes?
I have a question. I have heard from some people that Baba was depressed in the later period of his life. Depressed.
That Baba was depressed?
Uh-huh. Have you
Well-
heard that? Or?
No, that's one thing I had never heard, because I never saw him depressed. He was, if anything, he was very bright and light. Now, he suffered. Now, maybe they're mixing it up with that. Baba said that if anyone were to suffer what he does, they would drop dead immediately. They would not be able to. But he said, don't forget, I'm also in infinite bliss. So how do you suffer infinitely? You see, infinite means no limits. It's cosmic, it's universal. It's not just of the earth. How can you do that and sustain yourself? There is no way I could see that, except when you have the infinite bliss of your full existence. You see, your existence is bliss when you experience it, according to the way Baba explained things. It's unlimited, it's infinite. Infinite means no limits, no boundaries. You see, you can't even imagine anything without boundaries in our state. But that's what infinite is. Infinite power. He would talk about the infinite knowledge, the knowledge to which nothing can be added and nothing can be subtracted. This is the infinite knowledge. You can't add anything to it or subtract anything because it's complete. We have no idea that. The greatest scientists, have no end to the wonders that they see out in the cosmos. They can look through a telescope, they can't even see how big the universe is. It's so far, it's so big. So just the same, he's talking about a whole different state of consciousness than what we experience, and that the spiritual path is the path to experiencing what he does. That is your real spiritual path. It is not the journey through the planes or the highest conscious states as is explained by others that are advanced souls, the real advanced souls. It is the journey to come to know your full and complete infinite self, which is what Baba is. See, when you see Baba as he really is, then you're seeing yourself as you really are. Because there is not two, there is one. It is the state of oneness. You see, you're going from multiplicity or the duality of the mind. And when the mind goes, the oneness is what you experience.